Welcome back to our channel. This is Khoisan Talks. My name is Sabiha and I'm one of the hosts on the channel. I am a Khoisan lady of Southern African descent and this is our stories. On this channel we share who we are, what we are, where we come from as Khoisan, as the first Homo sapiens, the first human beings to ever walk this planet. So we are honored by this channel and by the grace of God that we can do this. I would like everybody, or I would like to ask everybody, to like and subscribe and to share our channel with people who are of similar mind, similar consciousness. This channel was created to awaken the consciousness of the Khoisan, the people of Southern Africa, Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Zambia, parts of Angola, and Southern Africa or South Africa. Tonight I have with me my beautiful co-host. I will allow her to introduce herself.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jessica, and I'm from Namibia, Southwest Africa. And I'm also here as the co-host said, my co-host Sabiha said, to talk about our Khoisan people and where we come from. And then we will explain to you, as we've already explained to you in our previous videos, about that we were the first people before all other tribes existed. So, a very warm welcome to all of you all over the world. Thank you, Sabina.
Wonderful. So Jess, tonight we'll be discussing Khoisan family, particularly our families and our history, our ancestors, so to speak, and where we come from, and stories that might unlock the consciousness of others. Maybe even a reminder of what was. Because as I've said many times, us as African people, melanated people, dark people, people of the sun, we share a common consciousness, we believe, with our ancestors. And so even though they have passed on, they are not dead. We don't believe they are dead. They are just in another realm, but have influence over
Yes,
us.
yes,
And so tonight we want to honor them by telling these stories and bringing life back into our communities by speaking about those who came before us. Because as Khoi, we have forgotten, I think a lot of us have forgotten about ancestors. The colonial mind still boggles us, even up till today, where we don't understand who we are and what we are and where we come from. A lot of people, this might sound very strange to, but a lot of Khoisan don't even know that they are Khoisan. They know they are dark. They know they are different from our Bantu brothers and sisters in Southern Africa. But they can't explain really who and what we are because of our history with the colonizers and what happened to our nations during um, the early 1500s, late 1600s, when the Portuguese first came to the southern tip of Africa and found Khoisan here. And so maybe this tonight, I hope to be a reminder to our people of who we are. This our stories might sound similar because me and my co-host speak about this a lot. Although she's in Namibia, which is about 1,400 kilometers away from
kilometers. Yes, yes,
our common consciousness, our common mind, our common language exceeds distance, it supersedes distance and time and space. And so tonight, hopefully, we can tap into some consciousnesses and awaken them. Uh, Jess, I would like for you, if you don't mind, to start with your family.
Um, shall we start with the way they lived at our households and how they go about daily routine? For instance, like we spoke in our previous show that we had, our the men of our the men would usually go out and they were known as hunter gatherers. They would go out to work. Usually they went to work outside of where they resided. Like in our case here in Namibia, we lived in a location called Khoisan, which was in the capital city of Windhoek. Windhoek is within Namibia. It's our capital city. And usually the men would go out to farms, to other smaller cities like, let's say, Keetmanshoop to the far south, to the north, even to nearby farms where they worked for, as we known for our the colonizers. Most of them worked for them. So they would go out and work, go out, and then they would come back every fortnight. They were known
Mm.
for
So they
coming
would stay
home
away from the house for two. Yeah, they would stay away from the house for 2 weeks.
for two
Wow.
weeks.
Mm.
Yes. And meanwhile, back at home, the women will be left behind with the children to take care of the daily routine, which is taking care of household chores, looking after the children. And we had household pets. For instance, my I grew up with my grandfather and my grandmother most. My mother was also part of my life, but mostly we grew up with our grandfathers and mothers. So
Yes.
my grandfather had rabbits, doves,
Wow.
tortoises. So we would feed them. We were taught how to feed them. The boys would be taught how to make uh, um, houses for these animals, where
Mm.
they cages, sorry for that, for these animals. And we would both, all of us would get our chances to feed these animals. And we had a way of doing things. For instance, you will find your grandmother telling you guys to go outside and make fire, a big fire, where you put on these black pots that we used to cook outside meals and stuff. So that pot we would prepare some hot water, the bath, that sink baths.
Yes, yes, I remember the sink parts. Yes.
Yes. We would take baths in that, and then we had these soaps. We didn't Back then we didn't know these luxury soaps that people use nowadays. We
Yes.
use sunlight soap. We were bathed with
Mm.
sunlight soap, and it was a weekly thing. So every week, our elder sisters, siblings, will take chances like this week, my older sister will bath all of us,
Yeah,
and
for the
we
week. For
have
the week.
this for the week. Yes, for the new week. Sundays would be the day where women would come together and do our hair, take baths, and just prepare us for the week ahead. While the mothers would prepare the food, and every Sunday morning we would go to church, and after church we would start with the daily chores as I just explained. And yeah, there is more, but as the show goes on, we can
We will
explain
elaborate.
more on. Yes.
Yes.
So,
So my family, yeah, sorry, I was interrupting your wisdom. Sorry, Jess.
no, I want to say, so while our fathers were away, mostly the women just kept the house cleaned, see to it that the kids eat right, see to it that we do the daily chores. We had daily chores that we knew that we must do. Like Fridays, you will know you must wash and polish the stoops, the back stoops, the
Yes.
verandas. So when you come
Mm,
from school, you usually when you enter the gate, you will smell you will get a smell of bread, oven bread,
mm,
and the
mm.
polish on the floor. That for us that was $1 million for us back then. You would look forward to go home after school just to have a warm slice of bread with butter, or to be sent to the shop. It was an outing for us to be sent to the shop to go buy something for the household. Then you will know you will get a 10 cents to buy 10 sweets. Because those years, one sweet was 1 cent.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm.
Over to you, Mr. Biha.
It's so interesting when you said that the smell of bread and floor polish. Immediately, my senses awoken because it is similar for me. We had to polish the floors. Our grandmothers were very finicky about these floors shining. You must be able to see your reflection in the floor. And so I remember my granny used to love this polish called cobra polish. It was this sticky, waxy, purpley um, substance that we used to put on the floor and we used to rub it in.
I
And
don't know if
that's
I want to ask you, sorry for interrupting you. I
yes.
don't know if you also know that, did you knew that we made our own polish
Wow. Mm,
out of out of paraffin and white candles.
wow.
We
Wow.
would we would we would put in the paraffin in a coffee, the tin of coffee, the big tin.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes,
Siri
you will
coffee.
exactly like the coffee. You will put, let's say you buy a packet of white candles, then you will cut it in small pieces. You will put it in the tin, pour in a certain amount of paraffin, and then after it melts, you will take it off the hot stove and you will wait for it to set. But before it set, you can also take a little bit of the cobra polish and put it in just for the smell.
Wow.
That's what we did.
That is so interesting. I can't remember a time like that. Um, but it makes sense that we, because Khoisan have always used natural things for everything,
Mm,
whether
mm.
it was a medicine, whether it was a cleaning, whether it was stuff for your hair. It was always natural things that we used. So that makes complete sense that it would be candles and paraffin, which would make a liquidy substance, add a bit of coloring in there or aroma in there, and it would make a
Yes.
polish. Yes, yes. Our people have always been innovative
Mm.
and coming up with taking something and creating something completely different from what thing is supposed to do. And I'm always so um, in awe when I hear these things, when I speak to the elders in our communities, and they tell me about the herbs that they use to treat ailments or the little prayers that they said for certain occasions, and reminding the children to not uh, 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 in my family, where I come from, we never ate cereal. I
mm,
never ate cereal. I never ate
mm,
Kellogg's. I never had Cocoa
mm,
Pops. We never had all
mm.
these things. No.
No.
You ate something that was cooked on the stove.
Yes.
Whatever you ate, it came cooked from the stove. And
Yes.
so, Khoisan, I've always had a thing with us eating natural things and things that comes from the earth and things that you can biodegradable that you can put back in the earth and it won't destroy the earth or it won't hurt the earth. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Very interesting because we ourselves, we would, in the old days, we used to eat top score, but the top score wasn't like the top score that we find nowadays. It was that
What is
yellow
top
one.
what is top score?
Top score is it's a pup. It's a porridge.
Oh, it's a
It's
maize meal. The name of the
the maize
maize,
meal.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes.
So that top score, today's top score is fine. It's more finer. But
More
in the older
refined.
days, yes, our top score that we used to eat was it was more rough and
Yes.
it was more yellow. I even
Oh,
bought top score. I bought top score. I bought it in October last year from a guy. He came this side. I'm residing in Henty's Bay, dear viewers, which is also in Namibia. It's at our one of our coastal towns. So this guy, we found him nearby one of our shopping centers where he sold cream from the farm, meat, and this top score. So I bought two small things. It wasn't that big, so I just went come back here and I tried, but I couldn't. But once I tasted it, it took me back to what we used to eat back then.
yes, yes. Food
Yes,
has changed a lot. As you know, I studied nutrition, and even the soil has become so infertile, if I can say that. For example, what you would find the I don't know, magnesium or potassium that you would find in
potassium. Yes.
that comes from banana. All you had to do was eat one banana at a time, and you would get the recommended daily uh, nutritional value of potassium for the day. Today, because of our soil and how polluted our soil is, and how barren our soil is, how infertile our soil is, you'll have to eat 12 bananas to get the same potassium that you could eat 50, 60 years ago. And
Yes.
so uh, the thing that I've realized with our people is because of the colonial oppression that we went through, because of the genocide that we went through, because of it was a Holocaust that happened to the Khoisan people. It was a Holocaust. Because of the Holocaust that happened to us, many of us have forgotten our history and our culture and how we believe and what we believe and why we did certain things a certain way. I was telling you earlier, an elder in the community told me once. So in our communities, in Khoisan communities, you'll always find that the children are left to the grandmother, and the grandmother takes care of the children. Mostly, it is the daughter's mother that takes care of the
Yes.
children.
Mm.
The children goes to the maternal grandmother's house, and the maternal grandmother takes care of the children. And the elder
Mm.
said to me, "Well, there's a reason for that. There's a reason why you instinctively phone your mother and say, 'I'm having a baby,' and she instinctively knows that, right? We baby's coming to me. I'm gonna have to rear baby
Mm.
because Khoisan believe that babies and adults are the two closest to the ancestral realm.
Mm.
The babies just coming out of that realm. into our universe, and the grandmother on her way to that realm. So they have the closest relation to God, or the
Yes.
great one in the sky, or
Yes.
that elevation of becoming an ancestor.
Yes.
And so the grandmother, as she's holding the child, is now reminded of where she is going, the purity of the child, the quietness of the child, the health of the child, the excitement of the child, the curiosity of the child. The
Yes.
grandmother, the grandmother can feel the energy of where the child is coming from. And
Coming
in turn, the
from.
grandmother teaches the child how to navigate this world. And so
Yes.
the two is a relationship of mutual consciousness, mutual elevation, mutual understanding. It's not just a thing that has no consciousness behind it. The
Mm.
grandmother, particularly the maternal grandmother, taking care of the grandchildren. And that is how our villages have always been.
Yes.
Was raised with my grandmother. My both my parents worked, and my aunts, um, their children also stayed with the my mother's mother, my maternal grandmother. I think at one point there was about 15 of us in the same house, and the older ones had started working already and still didn't want to go. So normally by the time the child reaches the age where the child can work, then the child goes to the mother. This is now if the child is not married. So the child goes to the mother, and but in our case I found that me and my cousins, we never wanted to leave. Even as we got older, you wanted to stay by granny because you like granny's food, and
Yes.
um, you miss granny's um, energy, her comfort, her yes, because she is off to the next iteration, if I can put it that way. We understand. We come to a point of consciousness where we understand. Granny is now about to cross over, and so we want to spend more time with her because the child and the grandmother grow such a profound bond. This has
Yes.
never been a negative in our culture until colonialism started.
Mm.
Then it became, oh no, you are too lazy, you don't want to look after your child. Oh no, the mother is old and she needs to rest, and put her in a home, and you put your child in a daycare, splitting up the families. This is an unnatural thing for Khoisan. It is more natural for us to build communities, to build families. And so we always lived in these with our grandmothers and the grandfathers in their homes, and there's always 15, 16 grandchildren, and but everybody understood their place. Everybody knew
Yes. Yes.
who does that.
What?
Granny didn't have to
Yes.
yell at us all the time. You knew exactly what to do to get the community, your household, which is your miniature community, your micro community, to get your micro community moving. And there was understanding and consciousness behind this. There was wisdom behind this. And today, it almost feels to me as if our way, our culture is seen as um, uncivilized, not westernized, not cultured. Yet, if you
Mm.
look at why we did things a certain way, there is so much consciousness behind it. There is so much spirituality behind it, wisdom, understanding. Um, when I was a child, the old people used to say, I'm going to say it in Afrikaans, which is our mother tongue, viewers, just so by the way. Afrikaans is our mother tongue. It is the language that was taught to us by the colonizers because we could not speak our own tongue. Um, die ou mens het altyd gesê, Jessica, eendag as ek dood is, dan gaan jy alles onthou wat ek gesê het.
Yeah.
Meaning, meaning, one day when I am gone, when I've crossed over into the other realm, you will remember everything I've said. Now, there is consciousness behind this thought.
In that. Yes.
We believe our ancestors don't die. They cross to another realm. And from that realm, they support us, sending us reminders of the things that they said. Because we
And
have
the,
so many things every day that we wouldn't, you might remember now, but there comes a certain point where the information, and you'll say, you know, my mother said that, or I'm starting to say things my mother said,
yes. Yes, we do. We all do.
or we start acting and behaving like the ancestor that passed on.
Mm,
Because they have not died, they are still feeding us from the other
yes.
side. Yes, yes. But
Were there certain types of were there specific, you spoke earlier about medicine and how we were healed within the household with natural things. Like for us, you know, we used to get this, I don't know if you know of it, but it's like a petseer.
mm,
You would get that settle pimple on a certain area of your body. Mostly you would get it on your bum or
yes,
at an uncomfortable place.
places.
And I
Yeah, most
mentioned,
uncomfortable.
yes, and I mentioned earlier that we were bathed with sunlight soap. So my
Yes.
grandmother would cut off a piece of that sunlight soap. She would add water to it, make it in a paste, add sugar to it, and then put it on that pimple. And you know, Sabiha, what that sunlight soap did? She would put a plaster around that, and then after the same day, after a few hours, you would find that pimple is ripe. It would become yellow, and after it's yellow, she would open it, and it would start
The pus would start
to
running out.
the pus would start to run out.
Yes, yes,
So that
yes.
is
It
what's
brings the pus
happening.
to the top. Yes, yes. I
So
am
were there
familiar with this. Yeah.
were there other specific methods that you in South Africa used to use?
There's so many. Um,
Hmm.
Khoisan have always been healers, and we've always used the medicine from the bush, from the veld. We call it veld medicine now.
Yes.
Interestingly, it became a colonizer's name. Then it became Boereraad, which
Yeah.
means
Hmm.
which means Boer advice or a Boer, and it had nothing to do with the Boers. So my grandmother, may she be elevated in the next iteration, in the next life. May she reach high points in the next life.
Yes.
And may she power me in this. She was a
Yes.
healer herself.
Hmm.
She was a healer. And she used to use all kinds of medicine. And most of the medicine that you find in Western medicine today comes from South Africa, comes from the southern tip of Africa. Most of your anti-inflammatories and your painkillers and your uh, there's so many. Gosh, now I'm stumped for words. Anyway, there's so many medications. As a matter of fact, as you know, I myself am a healer, and I used
Yes.
natural medications to heal our people as well. For example, there's a
So,
plant in South Africa that we call alse. It's
mm,
a thin green leaf, and alse has cured diabetes, hypertension, if you have any type of gastrointestinal disease going on, if you have parasites in your stomach, we give you alts to drink. So this leaf, you boil water, you put the leaf in the water, you let it stand for 2-3 hours, it draws as a tea, and then you drink it. That is used for, like I said, diabetes, hypertension, gastrointestinal problems, inflammation. There's another one called buchu. I don't know if Jess has heard the word buchu.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Yes. Buchu is also another herb that we use to treat different ailments. We have the aloe here, the fig plant, the aloe that we cut in half and we put it on the skin, and it is if you have any cuts, any scratches, any sores on the body, we put that on and it heals. If you have eczema or psoriasis, the granny rubs the aloe on your hand, a thick layer of aloe. Aloe is a gel-like substance in the leaf.
I think you
Um,
forgot one.
tell me.
You forgot the spit.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
This is another thing. Very important. Um, as children, if you got hurt, the granny would put spit on the thumb and she'll rub it wherever the sore is, and it would heal.
Yes.
It would heal, and it would calm down the inflammation because our spit has I can't get to the name now. When I do, I will say. Our spit has enzymes. These enzymes,
Yes.
Koi believes, when these enzymes touch the flesh of where the child
Yes.
comes from. Now, I can't be putting my enzymes on your child. It doesn't work. You'll make my
Doesn't work
child
like
sick.
that.
It
Yes.
doesn't work. Whoever the grandmother is, or the mother is, or maybe even the aunt sometimes, they can take and put it on and it will heal, but nobody else. Because the enzymes, we believe, recognizes the body. This is mine. This is where I come from. This is the same as me in that
Yes.
subcutaneous
Yes.
level.
Exactly. Yes.
And it starts healing. So yes, we did use spit, but it's the enzymes we know now with
Yes.
science. As a matter of fact, my mother used to make a concoction when we have a cough. She would take cooking oil, brown vinegar, garlic, fresh crushed garlic, and a little. If if the child's nose is clogged up or your nose is
Yeah.
clogged up, they would add
Yes.
chili flakes. But chili flakes was not always in it, unless there was a congestion happening as well
Yes.
with a cough.
Yes.
And she would make it, and that was your cough medicine. I only started seeing cough medicine, I think, in our house in my early 20s. But before then, it was cooking oil, vinegar, and garlic. And now, when we study the vinegar, the properties of the vinegar, and the properties of the oil, and the properties of the garlic, it is anti-inflammatory, antifungal, It is actually a real medicine when you study the properties.
Yeah.
Because my family are healers, we understood that these Western medicines does not agree with our biology. Their medicine makes us sick. Our medicine is the only medicine that can cure us. The kicker of the story is, though, most of their medicines, the compound that it comes from, is some type of plant or herb that they found in South Africa. 80% of medicine, the raw medicine, comes from South Africa, or the southern part of Africa. So
We we also use the, I don't know, I think we spoke earlier about this, but I didn't mention this to you. We also use the absence drink, especially after Christmas feasts.
yes,
Our grandmother, she would make it with lukewarm water and then give us each a sip or two to take for us to clean our system. So nowadays, I always tell people or whomever I get in contact with on these spiritual talks in how to keep yourself clean and how to keep yourself, to keep your energy flow. I
mm,
always, like for instance, me myself, I bath myself in Epsom salt. Our people believe that salts were natural cleansing to bath in.
yes,
So
yes.
yeah. So I don't know. Were you also familiar with it?
I know about Epsom salts because of my background in medicine. So Epsom salts is a magnesium. If magnesium is drawn to the bowel, it draws water to the bowel. And because it draws water to the bowel, it releases the stool. But we
Mm.
used so many other different things. We hardly used in Cape Town, where I'm from, we hardly used those types of things. Those were still modern medicine for us.
Yes. Yes.
So so in South Africa or in Cape Town, there was a plant that used to grow here. And the sad part is that the colonizers destroyed these medicines in our communities. They literally ripped it out or
Mm.
fenced it up so that we could not get access to it. But there used to
Mm.
be a flower, I can't remember the name. Those who remember will remember. Viewers from Cape Town, if you remember, please comment below what the name is. It had a yellow flower and a green stem, and we called it, um, it's got a peculiar name. We called it fritangs. And if you had any type of obstruction happening down there, naturally you just go into the yard or next to the road, the fritangs would be growing there. You pick some off, you wash it off. There's your natural, there's a natural relief for
Mm.
bloating and constipation. So we've always, I always tell people, South Africa or Southern Africa is heaven. We live in heaven. Our Father provided us with every type of herb and plant for us to survive in abundance, not just little, in abundance. These things grew in the southernmost tip of Africa. Our Father gave us clean drinking water flowing from mountains and flowing down streams. And we have the 4 seasons in Southern Africa: summer, winter. Um, what's the other two? Summer, winter. I'm not thinking Afrikaans, so I can't get to the English names.
Spring,
Autumn
autumn.
and autumn. So we have summer, winter, spring, and autumn. So we have 4 seasons in Southern Africa. And with those 4 seasons comes abundance. The rain comes during June and July, August, which is our winter months. Um, um, and then spring comes October, November, and you see the blossoms. You see the new life sprouting up, the new trees coming forth, bringing new life. We also are surrounded by oceans, Atlantic and the Indian Ocean, and which is filled with all kinds of uh, aquatic life, fish. We are
Yes.
spoiled for choice. We are spoiled for choice. Besides our land being so fertile and so fruitful, and our animals being so healthy, living off the land of this part of Africa, southern Africa, that our civilizations grew tremendously. We made tremendous strides in short periods of time. And people don't understand, or a lot of people don't understand, that South Africa is, when they get here, they realize. Even you, Jessica, when I showed you where I live, you were quite surprised that
Yes,
we
I
were so
was.
green. Yes, that we were so green. And so we live in a land of abundance. We were gifted, we were blessed with a land of abundance where we didn't need modern medicine, where we didn't need to work very hard for anything much, because we lived in heaven. My mother used to, like I told you, my mother and my parents are from Constantia. My mother, her line. And Constantia is rich with produce, particularly grapes. Those of you who are watching this tonight, I want you to go and have a look, or Google, or search for Constantia in Cape Town. My mother used to say, before the colonizers evicted them off their land forcefully, stole the land from them. This was almost 60 years ago. The colonizers came and stole the land from them. This fertile land was stolen that the Khoi have been cultivating for thousands of years on this mountain in Constantia, this fertile land. My mother used to say, when she came from school, she used to walk down the road and there would be a vineyard of grapes, and she would start eating grapes. And if she didn't want grapes, she would just walk further and there'd be orange trees. And she could take an orange. And if she didn't want an orange today, she could go in the opposite direction and get strawberries. It was abundance. It was abundance.
I wanted to talk to you about that earlier. In the
Yes.
street where I used to live, every house had an orange tree.
Yes.
Every house had grapes,
Yes.
figs,
Yes.
pawpaws,
Yes.
guavas. You
Every
would just go to
house.
your friends. If you want to eat apples, the apples were a little bit scarce. But if you want to eat, let's say a
The
pawpaw,
apples
you
didn't
know
grow very
which.
big.
Yeah, yeah. And there was a certain fruit. It was a fruit. I don't know if you also know that fruit. It's called a kuiper. Kuiper.
Oh, oh, my heart.
Yes, it was
Yes.
a dry, very dry fruit.
But you could use the pips on the inside to make glue. So you could eat the fruit and then use the pits inside to make glue.
Yes,
We
yes,
live, we literally lived in paradise. Southern
we did.
Africa is paradise.
Mm.
And it's always so interesting to me when I walk down it's a coastal town called Kalk Bay. It is also one of the places where I pray. And they'll show little landmark and pictures of the colonizers swimming and surfing on these boards. This is in 1920, 1930. I mean, they are in paradise. You can see them on the beach. These people are having the time. They are literally in paradise right now. But yet, in the history books in America, in the history books in Australia, in the history books in France and the UK and the Netherlands and Dutch and Portuguese, we are portrayed as uncivilized, deep, dark Africa. a land where there is murder and torture and cannibalism and all these different things. No hope. They come to save us, is what the
Mm.
lie that's been told.
Yes.
But yet, if you go there to Kalpe right now and you look at the boards and you look at the date, what they said to the rest of the world and what was actually reality, two different things. This is the psychosis of the colonizer.
Mm.
This is their insanity. This is their demonic behavior. The kids these days have a word that they say, and I use it now often. They say, "Don't gaslight me." They
Mm.
say, meaning, don't let something be one thing, and you try to convince me that it is something
It's
else where
another.
I get it's not
Yes.
what you are trying to convince me of.
Yes.
I say our colonizers are the creators of gaslighting. And so that is why also I think me and you wanted to create this channel. Not only to show the people, our people, but to show the rest of the world what is actually fact about Southern Africa. Our intelligence, our intuitiveness, our creativeness, our ability to strive and survive. Like I said, what happened to the Khoisan in Southern Africa was a Holocaust.
Mm.
A Holocaust that has been unmatched as far as I have seen in history of any civilization. I think if I'm really, I don't want to, uh, I understand our American Indians, the Apaches, I understand their struggle. First Nations. I think it's a First Nation thing. The Aborigines in Australia,
Mm.
all the countries that I've traveled to, I want to meet the First Nations. For example, in Southern Africa, the Bantus, who are not native to Southern Africa, they they are the ones who rule now. They are the ones in power now. They are the ones who make decisions, even for us. Um, if you go to Malaysia and Indonesia, you find the Malaysians with skin, they look almost Chinese. There's a mixture there. You can see they all. But I went up into the mountains and found the indigenous people, they're dark skinned people, people that look like me. And when I spoke to them or inquired about them, they said that they were the indigenous people. So, indigenous people around the world, natives to a land, I think have always been the attack on us has been the worst, has been the most brutal. What makes Khoisan so unique is they stripped away everything, our identity, our culture, our belief, our families, our our very soul. Because they left when they came for us, when they colonized us. And not one Khoisan, interestingly, has ever been put into slavery. Not one Khoisan has left our shores. Did you know that, Jess?
Yes, we spoke about the other day.
They did not take a single one of us. I think they understood what we were, but that was also their mistake because they underestimated the consciousness of our minds. They thought we
Mm.
could not recover.
mm.
They thought that because they stripped us of so much, our language, like I said, our land, our identity. I said to you earlier, I am not even seen as African in South Africa. I have to tick a box called colored, which is what
Yes, you
most of us
said
are.
so.
And colored is a derogatory term for people without a land, for people without laws, for people without rights. That is what the colored is. And my Bantu brothers, my Bantu children, I like to call them my children because all tribes come from me.
Mm,
Still today, make me tick that box. And if I try to tick black or African, they say, no, you are not. You are colored. And then I asked him, so tell me what is a colored? What am I if I'm not African? That is how much our identity was taken away from us. That not even my Bantu children recognize who I am.
sure, sure.
If I want to apply for a position in South Africa and I tick African, they tell me I am lying, I cannot get the job. Because we have a system called BEE, Black Economic Empowerment. If you are black, you are going to get privileges.
Mm, mm,
I do not qualify for a single one of those privileges, yet I am indigenous. Yet this is my land. I am native here, but I cannot tick African or black. I have to tick a derogatory term, color. A people without land or laws or rights to anything. This is what we are ticking every day. Do you realize? And somehow they've convinced us, the colonizers and the Bantus have convinced most of us that we don't deserve to be here or have any rights in Southern Africa. We have no lawmakers that is Khoisan. We have no real political parties that is Khoisan. We have no representation at all.
mm.
Yet I am native to this land. I think it hurts so much that in this land, where my ancestors have been for 200,000 years, I am seen as a foreigner. I am seen as an alien. The pain, the hurt is immense. It has no word. I've often cried, Jason, asked, Lord, why? Why do they not recognize me? Why do my own people not recognize who we are? Why do they tick
We
that
don't,
colored box?
we don't, we don't see each other enough, and I think that's one of the reasons we decided, or we this podcast was ordained. And as you spoke earlier about the specific flower that you would pick from, and then you would wash it and eat it, I thought of Imagine what would happen if we could just realize who we are and where we are coming from, because we are coming from greatness, as you said.
Just the knowledge, just the knowledge as a people. Imagine being the first of our species to become human, Homo sapien. We make it. The rest don't make it. We make it. Khoisan. We cultivate the land. We learn about God. We understand the connection. We understand the plants, as God said, and I taught Adam the nature of all things, which is Khoisan. We know the nature of all things. God puts me here, gives me all this knowledge. And we deny who we are, and we are being denied what we are. A people without land or laws or rights. In Southern Africa, my people do not understand what they have done to us. Do you not understand that it is our consciousness, our minds, that can turn this thing around? Our people still live in poverty, extreme poverty. The Khoisan. Yes, we have Bantus that are African, but they are not indigenous to this land. They are visitors, guests. And yet my guests are telling me that I do not have any rights to my own house or to the water coming out of my taps. Or the fruits of my plants that I grow. As a matter of fact, don't even talk your language.
Mm.
As a matter of fact, don't wear your krale. They ask me, why do you wear this? I said, this is native to me, indigenous to me. This is my culture. And they ask me, but that's African. I say, but I am African.
Yes.
This is specific to my tribes. This is specific to my tribes. The leopard print is specific to my tribe. My crystals is specific to my land. It comes out of this ground, this earth. It is not the green and yellow and pink and blue bead. I wear what comes from the earth. That is who we are. We show you we are indigenous. I am indigenous. And so today our people still sit without land in Southern Africa. From Botswana to Zimbabwe to Namibia. Namibia and South Africa especially, we have no recognition at all.
None whatsoever.
And I'm talking tonight to my Bantu children. Do you not see us?
Mm.
Do you not recognize my face?
Mm.
Do you not see the texture of my hair, the color of my skin, my high cheekbones, my slanted eyes? Do you not see my physique?
Mm.
Do you not recognize me? You should be ashamed, all of you, for what you have done to us, what you've allowed to continue. Khoisan gave the Khoisas a name, their name. I don't even think Khoisas realize where they got their name from. We named them
Mm.
angry people. Khoisa means angry people. Are you that angry that you cannot recognize me? Are you that brainwashed by the colonizers that you forget that I'm your mother, that you found me in my
Mm.
house, that I gave you
Mm.
refuge? And I was the one that died before they came to you in KwaZulu-Natal and in the Eastern Cape and in Transkei. So read your history. What did the Portuguese find when they came to Southern Africa? They found me, my kind, in thousands in drones. And they murdered us. And we kept them away from you for 200 years until we could not fight anymore. And then they found Shaka Zulu. But before then, it was Witboy. Before them, there was Troma. And before Naledi, there was Sarki Bartman. And we died and we bled and we gave up our lives for you. Just so you can turn around and tell me I'm not part of this land.
I don't deserve.
You should be ashamed.
Mm.
Because as long as I struggle, you will struggle.
Mm.
As long as my consciousness is in shackles, your consciousness stays in shackles.
Mm.
As long as you deny me, the universe will deny you.
Mm.
In turn, we all lose. Do not be angry men. Put your Khoisa manners aside. Angry men. It is time for an awakening. It is time for a melanin consciousness, a brown, dark consciousness. And denying me cannot sprout this. I am still not welcome on the land that my grandfather, my mother, my grandfather, my great grandmother, my great great grandmother. I'm still not denied on the land. I'm still denied on the land. I'm still not welcome. The soil that recognizes me, the wind that blows and I hear my ancestors call me, the mountains that hold the energy of my people. We started off this episode cheerful, Jess. But I think it's time that we speak our truth and what has been happening to us and what is happening to us and why we are so stuck in the colonizer's chain. But our ancestors are, there's a shift happening. There's a shift happening, an awakening of conscious mind. It is happening to our diaspora, those who are in America especially. They are on fire. They remind
Yes.
me of Khoisan. They remind me of us, African Americans. If you hear this, come and look up the Khoisan people. They call us coloreds. You will find your own.
Mm,
So
mm.
many African Americans when they come. There's not really a lot I have in common with the Bantus. Then I want to tell them, come to us. It's as if it is as if our collective destruction and the pain, the oppression and the murder, the things they did to us in America and what happened to the Khoisan here in Southern Africa, it is like our consciousness merged. And we speak the same and we feel the same and but there is an awakening and it's time for us all to wake up. My people, especially the people. Khoisan means the people. We call ourselves
Mhm.
the people. The
Mm,
rest is something else.
mm.
I will even say it. We are God's favorite. We are the Israelites. You're searching for Israelites? Come search for the Khoisan. We are the Israelites. We are the direct descendants of Adam. Come look. God put him in paradise. It's South Africa. Southern Africa. Ask any Khoisan man who still loves the natural way. He will tell you the nature of all things around him. He will tell you the nature of the animals, each and every animal. He will tell you the nature of each and every plant. He will explain to you the wind and earth and fire and why and the science of it. Stop denying us. Stop ignoring us. And to my people, the people, wake up. We are still in bondage. Thank you, Jess.
You've said it all, sis. You've said it all as usual. Very wise. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank God for your wisdom. I had we spoke about it last in our last session. I had a download that our ancestors are working from underneath the soil, healing our land. But what must we do? We must start with agriculture. We must start to plant our food because even our food that we buy in the shops, most of them are not for us.
It is a poison.
So I had
It
that
is a
download and I sat with that and I asked God to reveal to me. And so God did. And a brother from Nigeria contacted me and asked me to start a that he advised me to look for land and that we should start plant our own food. And that was so significant for me. So
mm,
my people, like my lovely sister said, stand up. We are waking up. I know. I can feel it. So if I can feel it, you can feel it. Don't second guess that you are feeling. It is what it is. It saddens it. I feel sad if I think about my children, our children, sis.
mm,
I
mm.
feel I feel sad, but not to an extent that we we cannot change. For me, there is change that's happening right now as we speak. We just need to tune in. Thank you, sis.
You just need to tune in. I'm going to end it with something that Martin Luther King said. Martin Luther King was a civil rights activist in America who was assassinated by the colonial devils. And Brother Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. But he also said, a few days of, no, I'm going to lie now if I say how long, but it was shortly afterwards he was murdered. He was assassinated by these cowards. He said, I see the promised land. God has given me a peek and I've seen the promised land. I'm telling my people, the people, Khoisan, I have seen the promised land. My father has shown me a peek of the promised land. And because we do not just live in this consciousness, we live in all consciousness, from the past to the present to the future. So it will be my people who will live in the promised land, which means it comes from me. I've seen the promised land. And we will all walk in it together. But we have to unlock our mind. We have to realize that this, what they are doing to us, the lies we've been told, the stories we've been told, is there to confuse us
Yes.
and manipulate us and divide us. And I look at my sister who practices Christianity, and all of a sudden I'm scared of her. Why? Because she practices Christianity and I practice Islam.
Mm.
Religion is our way of connecting to the Most High. My medium is through Islam. My sister's medium is through Christianity. My Rasta brother's medium is by following Rastafarianism.
Mm.
Why must I be afraid or scared of what my brother practices when all he wants to do is connect with the Most High? It is just his medium. They
Mm.
use religion to divide us. Do not fall for the enemy's ploy. And recognize that they are our enemy, even today. They poison us with food, calcifying our pineal glands, our very ability to connect with God, to power us up, to make us conscious. To deaden our power. We did not have need for a single medicine until they came. This is how pure our civilizations were. There was no need for a kidney transplant and a heart transplant, diabetes, hypertension, Alzheimer's, cancer, dementia. We had no such things. Why?
Because it wasn't for us. It's not for us.
It's not part of our DNA. And so we must go back to how we were. And we must be proud of who we are. Because we come from greatness. And you are still great.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Do not give your powers away for meager gain. It is meager gains. They know that this is paradise. And they are stealing it away from you. Since we've gone much over the time tonight. But I hope that our viewers have enjoyed it. I hope that people understand that they overstand. Our grandmothers used to say in Afrikaans, hoor jy my? Are you hearing me? She did not speak about this ears.
Yes.
When the granny said, hoor jy my? Do you hear me? She was not talking about this. When the grandmother said, kan jy nou sien? It was not these two eyes. Kan jy nou sien? That is who we are. We connect on another level. We are energy. Lightning is what we are. Conductors of energy. This skin, this dark skin, gets powered by the sun. Electricity vibrates through my blood. Powering up my brain. Making me taste things I don't even have in my mouth. Have you experienced? Have you tasted something in your mouth and you don't know what it is? Maar nou lus jy daarvoor, now you want it.
Yes.
There's a smell coming to your nose. Whether it's a sweet smell, most of us say it's a sweet smell. What is that smell? The This is the power we have. We taste things that is not even in our mouths, and they think of us crazy when we say these things. You need help.
Mm.
When I say, "Did you hear from the neighbor?" I have a feeling. I have a feeling. Yes, you do. And yet they call us crazy.
Yes.
When we stand still and we swear the wind just spoke to us, not realizing that the wind did speak to you. They call us crazy. We are not crazy. We are just superhuman. And it is time we return to where we are, or where we should be, before our civilization was interrupted. Before they came and interrupted our civilization. We were Homo sapiens. We were becoming super sapiens. We were Homo sapiens. We were busy becoming super sapiens when we were
Mm.
interrupted. But the magnificent thing about us, we don't die. We can still become super sapiens, but you need to stop. You need to recognize me and not be afraid of me. You need to know that I am blood of your blood. And this earth is where we all come from. Brown people, Khoi people, that horrible word, colored people. The more you deny, the longer our exile. Let the Israelites return. Israelites return. Wake up.
Mm.
Children of Adam. Blood of my blood. You are the people being spoken of in the books. You are the people being spoken of in the books. Read the books. Understand what happened to us. That we are currently in exile. In our own lands. I'm in exile. Just how people must wake up. But God is ever powerful. Our one saving grace. Whatever they did, they could not murder, rape, torture God out of us. They could not brainwash God out of us. That connection can never be broken. Neither could they do anything about the power of our ancestors. I said to you one day, Jess, they play checkers, God plays chess.
Yes.
And all you have to do is just believe. It's as simple as that. Just believe and know who you are and what you are and how special you are. Because you are special. The fact that we survived, the fact that we survived, and that me and you can sit here today and have this conversation about Khoisan and the natives of Southern Africa, that is the power of us. Two of your tribes, Jess, two of your tribes nearly extinct. Your direct line. It is by a miracle, by a grace of God, that you can sit here today and have a conversation with me.
Yes, sir.
This is how powerful we are. This is how favored we are. But we need to wake up. Thank you, sis.
Thank you, Sabiha, for those wise words that I've stated earlier. We are blessed to have each other. We are blessed to have common grounds. May our Father guide us through whatever is still to come.
I say,
May our
inshallah.
Father heal and direct our children's minds into the right direction. May our Father be merciful because God is merciful. Don't ever doubt
Especially
Him.
us. Inshallah. Inshallah.
Like my sister said earlier, we are favored. We are His favorites. You better believe that. I can attest to that.
And how? One day we must tell you a story.
So, with that note, we unfortunately have to say good night, goodbye to our beautiful viewers. Thank you for checking in on our live show tonight. Um, Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Your comments are most welcome. Thank you so much
Inshallah.
for giving us this opportunity to enlighten you so that we can finally come together as one nation. We are one. You are blood of my blood. Oh, child. Oh, African child. Please hear my silent prayer. May God be with us, direct us. Let His peace be upon each and every one of us. I say, I say, I say.
Inshallah. 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 Thank you, sis. That is beautiful. Thank you, sis. That is beautiful.
Thank you so much, viewers. And with that note, we are checking out. Good night and God bless you.
God bless. God bless. Good night, everyone.